It is indeed a pleasure to have this privilege to play here for you. And we intend to give you a very fine program, so just settle back, relax, and enjoy the moment.
Good morning. Hey, Debbie. Right on time. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Whiskey Need. Good morning, Darcy. Somebody opened my newsletter last night. Good morning, Nicole. Who this? Who's Vince? Vince Dana. What up? B-Man. B-Man, we gotta talk. I got a grievance. I got a customer service grievance. B-Man, what's up? Call Jerry, he'll tell you. Good morning, y'all. It's really good to see you. I'm being goofy because, yup. You ever have, I'm really fortunate to I would say the last 2 years specifically, I've been really fortunate to be able to earn a paycheck doing really important work. Starting with working for Black Voters Matter. Shout out Cliff Albright. Shout out all my people still holding it down with BVM and the BVM alum. My work with Black Voters Matter was like the turning point here in Charleston for me. I left Philly. I didn't leave because I got ran out or anything like that. I left Philly after I lost my sister, and decided to be closer to my parents who were aging and just family, just be closer to my family, my mom and my dad. And, one of the biggest questions was how do I make it work? Cause I knew I didn't want to continue to work, as an executive in retail. Good morning. I look cute. I look washed out, Kia. I don't know. My makeup brushes are dirty. I look a little ghostly. I assure you guys, I'm very chocolatey. No, but I moved down here and I knew one thing. I knew I wanted to change my life. I knew I wanted to pursue my passions. I knew I wanted to pursue the things that I used to pursue coming out of undergrad, working in and around public policy, politics explicitly, maybe. I was an organizer on campus, president of my Black Student Union, just a leader. And I knew I wanted to do that when I got here, but I just couldn't make it work. I couldn't make it sustainable. And so the past 2 years, I've been fortunate enough to kind of it turn the corner. It took a good five years of really trying to figure things out and having the support of my family and all that and my friends. And it finally kind of turned the corner. And while things are not perfect, I think I felt moved to share this morning because it's been tough these past past month or so. It's been tough in terms of my workload. I've taken on a little bit too much in terms of what I do with all of these amazing people that I've met. And I know that that's because it was so tough. The first 5 years in Charleston was so tough to find spaces where you could advance an activist message or you can advance a progressive message, a message of change, a message that is unapologetically in favor of Black liberation, right? I didn't want to bring anything from other places here because that never works. But I did want to take what I've learned in working and living in the New York metro area, working and living in the Philadelphia metro area. I wanted to bring some of that here, but not change culture, not try to bring northern sensibilities down here, not like that. And it just was tough. And because I was so stressed, and I am still stressed, and today's a really tough and big day, a very momentous day, a lot of work to do and a lot of things to say today after I get off this live. But I had to remind myself, this is the ongoing process, if that makes any sense. Oh yeah, the nature of Charleston for real. It's an ongoing process. And I don't want to lose sight of the good things. I don't want to lose sight of the people I've met. I don't want to lose sight of the opportunities I've earned and opportunities that have been gifted to me too, but the opportunities that I've earned for sure. And I don't want to lose sight of that. No matter how stressed I get, I want to make sure that y'all know that it's grounded in really just trying to bring about change and trying to push the culture forward. Push your favorite candidates, push them to be better. Push your not so favorite candidates to be better. to change systems, to challenge places like, or challenge organizations or not organizations, but challenge institutions like DHEC to show up better for Black lives, right? Especially in this time that we're fighting for environmental justice, right? So anyway, I just wanted to say that. Probably lost a couple of y'all. But I just wanted to say that, that, you know, it's been tough, but I have to remind myself that it's all for a good reason. Am I still on? Everything cool? Everything good? Oh, Kia, you just chimed in the chat. I'm seeing on the chat. Girl, I know the struggle is real. I'm not an activist, but after leaving New York City, moving back here was rough. Just landed a job out of state. It's the only way for us to advance. And Kia, I mean, you and I haven't had extensive conversations. We've had some. But Kia, what you've been dropping in the chat here over the months of me streaming, thank you for the thumbs up. Kia, what you've dropped in what you've offered on Instagram, I know that you too are experiencing, like, it's universal. You don't have to be an activist to feel this crunch and this squeeze. You know, they especially if you're a Black woman, they really push you to keep doing one thing when your heart is telling you no. And also it stifles creativity as well. Yeah. Like, yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, it's been real tough. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've been doing some unhealthy things, like waking up at 3, because it doesn't seem like there's enough hours in the day. Waking up at 3, you know, over caffeinating past couple of weeks. But I know that this is temporary, and that I have people in my life who are intervening. Shout out Jared, shout out my DJ, who told me just to sit my ass down essentially yesterday. So anyway, I just wanted to say that it's not woe is me. It's just like, y'all, if you feel the same way, if you're going through it, it don't matter what you do. You could be a community stakeholder. You could be an activist. You could be shit. I don't give a fuck. You want fries at McDonald's, whatever it is. If you feel that way, I just wanted to say, I see you, I hear you, and just don't give up. Just please don't give up. That's what the system is designed to keep us exhausted and oppressed, and like in this constant state of mania. It's designed to do that. Surround yourself with good people who remind you to sit your ass down and get rest. Surround yourself with good people who are actively fighting for Black liberation. There are a lot of scary people out there. I ain't gonna lie, I got zero patience for scary people who give me private, you know, kudos and commendations and all that, but just don't do anything in public. I have zero patience for double dealers and all that. So surround yourself with people who gonna keep you honest and keep it honest and keep Charleston honest. Surround yourself with people who are not afraid to challenge white supremacy and its many manifestations. And yes, exhausting an activist is white supremacist culture. It's just articulated in other ways. And yeah, all my employers have come from out of state. My next opportunity will probably be something that comes from an outside entity. It will not be from Charleston. I guarantee it. Thank y'all for sharing in the chat. Yeah. It's been going on for a while. I know I'm not saying Vince Dana, I'm not saying this is just unique to me at all. Y'all know I leverage history so much. We saw what happened. Shoot, look at Septima Clark, right? Ran out of her field, lost her pension, lost her job at a ripe old age. A woman had to reinvent herself, had to go to Tennessee, had to go to Highlander, reinvent herself. People invested and poured into her work, and it's her story, it's Septima P. Clark's story, that reminds me like how white supremacy moves, right? Like they'll strip everything from you and then force you out, but then you have to do something. Like how do you just keep it going? And you stay. Esau Jenkins too. Like you just have to stay here, stay 10 toes down, and keep trying. And you know, it's those stories that we can read. I could pull out a bunch of names of people who were doing amazing work, trying to lift up Black liberation, trying to indict white supremacy, and having the systems just continuously take your degree, take your job, take your pension, take your house. You know, all of that. Yeah. It's more than just too, like one thing too, like white supremacy is like, you shouldn't have to create your own systems, but you should definitely, it's complicated is my point. You shouldn't have to create your own system. That's white supremacist culture, that we have to create our own everything because you won't grant us access to basic things. But you're right, Vince Dana, you have to create our own ways. You have to create your own. I'm not contradicting you. You have to create your own pathway for it. All right. Same facade. You said born and raised here. I've mostly been absent from politics because so few spaces accommodate or focus on Black liberatory goals. Come on. Right? Somebody said that yesterday, like if the, now this ain't specifically Black, but if something like Charleston DSA was around years ago, they would have found a political home there. And I think the same could be said if there were more spaces, more progressive spaces where you could definitely talk about Black liberation and center Black liberation. Right. And that leads me to what I titled or what I teased out with the live stream today. It leads me to this. Oh, definitely, Kia, definitely. What leads me to this? I said that this is like the practice of performative reconciliation, and I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna be very, very careful because I am not going at the neck. I am not going at her neck. A few years ago, one of my biggest regrets. I'm gonna switch it up right now. I'm gonna switch up the thing. One of my biggest regrets. Well, I have a few, because y'all know I could just I shoot from the hip, and sometimes, a lot of times some people catch a stray, right? But I was frustrated like hell. I was so frustrated. And the author of this piece, and I'm gonna say her name wrong. Whiskey Need this. I can't say Mara or Mora. I can't say it. Maura Hogan writes for the Post and Courier, and she wrote something relatively harmless, but it was that classic framing in Charleston that I took exception to. And instead of really kind of saying that plainly, I kind of went too hard at Maura, Miss Hogan. I went a little too hard. And so I want to make sure I don't repeat that mistake. But I will say parts of that framing came up again. You be like, Mika, what you talking about? Why are you talking about Spoleto? Why are you talking about? Because the culture here, right? This is a tourist city. So with tourism, there's a concerted effort by the Charleston Visitors Bureau, wields a lot of power. Some folks have said arguably they're more powerful than our actual elected officials at City Hall, including our city council and our mayor. But the CVB, because of their money, the money they've amassed, the political alliances that they've forged, their investment in white supremacist culture, their continued commitment to selling an antebellum fantasy that's steeped in Black exploitation, Black death, Black horror, Black trauma, Black murder, Black rape, Black family separation, because they continue to sell that in the form of marketing weddings on plantations where all those horrific practices took place. The CVB has really made a concerted effort to shape the culture and shape the narrative here in Charleston. And that bleeds into so many other aspects of our life. And it bleeds into culture. I want y'all to, one thing, if you don't remember anything that comes out of these big soup coolers, I want you to remember that you cannot separate culture from politics. You can't separate culture from, what's going on, like decision making, and like just don't separate culture from politics, right? Because you can't have one without the other, and vice versa. We can't have one without the other. Can't have culture without politics. You can't have politics without culture, and vice. Like that's what I was trying to say. And so what you'll see someone. Miss Hogan is a very capable writer, and she's fundamentally a sweet person. And she's worked in other areas where she's seen. I've had private conversations with her before I blew up the bridge. She's worked in other places where she's seen a very robust and active arts and culture scene. So I know she knows she can only do so much with her pen. But I will say that within her piece here, again, not going at her personally, in her piece, the framing that it feels like this paper and the CVB and other people who uphold white supremacist culture here, it seems like that framing has reared its head again. And also, I don't know who exactly. I'm assuming it's Spoleto and CVB, but they made sure this story. They made whoever's the publicist. Maybe it's my man's publicist. I don't know. Maybe the dude right here. So Spoleto has a new leader. So after 40 effing years. Spoleto finally got somebody brown to lead this cultural event, this widely influential, this worldwide known, this world renowned festival is now being led by somebody who isn't a white man. And while that is a change and that is maybe a modicum of progress, I'm like, I mean, I'm always a wait and see person. I've become more of a wait and see person. And while while his bona fides are impressive, shoot, he younger than me, he's doing it. And it's a Jersey connection here too. He's raised in Jersey. While his bona fides are laudable and impressive, it doesn't take away from the fact that, Spoleto and the powers that be, that's too big. Spoleto and the powers that be, they have a lot of work to do. They have a lot to account for, but they've been making an effort to look and appear as if things are changing here in Charleston. And let me just be more specific. So within the article, Ms. Hogan does have a sentence in it that I took exception to. Because this hire, they want you to know that they're progressive and like, oh, we're hiring someone brown. We're not trying to just have a white man lead this effort. We're changing. We're embracing the times. And I would push back a little bit. It's like, so is this what kind of hire is this? Is this like shout out Dr. Claw. What kind of, shout out Nicole for gifting subs. Thank you, Nicole. Shout out. What is this hire? This hire is more than just trying to improve Spoleto. This hire is political, right? And so let me see if I just go to Twitter. I did want to, I'm on Twitter right here. Let me just hit like so I can come back to this. But I want to go to my profile real quick. And I retweeted, shout out DJ Clue. I retweeted, this is what I tweeted. So this is it. Again, not trying to come at Miss Hogan's neck, but I had to keep it a buck. That's what I do. And I can talk about anybody's article. I just can't make it too personal, right? That's my own check. But right here I wrote this tweet. Nothing prolific. I pulled this line though from the piece. Charleston is also a place. This is from Mora's piece. I hope I said it right. All right. Charleston is also a place currently reconciling with its past, as evidenced in recent cultural projects such as the International African American Museum. Again, some of my staunchest critics might say, Mika, you are so petty. You are so nitpicky. Why do you have this granular focus on things like this one sentence? And I'm gonna just say this because it's not true. It's not true. Charleston's not reconciling with this past, right? Like you got to look out for things, sentences like, oh, Charleston is reconciling, or Charleston is struggling to get a hold of. Struggling and reconciling, those words mean an actual effort is being made. There is no real effort being made. This city did not even fund the very commission set up to address created to address the I guess the structural racism or disparities that African Americans face here. They didn't even fund the very commission on a subcommittee that I served on for 6 months doing free work. And I'm not lobbying to be paid personally, but countless amazing people, PhDs, artists of all disciplines, county park leaders, just amazing people. I met on my subcommittee alone, the arts and culture subcommittee alone. It wasn't even funded, right? So I know what your priorities are. Your priorities is to bring people here, and your priorities as a city, the priorities are to bring people here and to make them feel comfortable, to present a palatable Charleston. And for some reason you think that people wouldn't value getting the truth in their tourism experience. For some reason this city thinks that if you tell the truth about slavery, you tell the truth, right? Instead of naming hotels after the practice of auctioning black bodies, Vindu, instead of talking about these beautiful cobblestone streets, instead of talking about how those cobblestones were used as ballast stones in slave ships to keep the balance of on vessels that contain human cargo, right? Instead of really telling the truth and leaning into it and confronting it, right? And giving people like, and there's enough pretty things about Charleston, enough beautiful things about Charleston that you could enjoy. And then on top of it, the beautiful things in Charleston, y'all don't want to preserve. Y'all don't want to preserve any wetlands. Y'all don't want to preserve any tidal marshes. Y'all don't want to preserve any of the Black important things. Y'all don't want to preserve the things that are innately beautiful and make Charleston beautiful. Y'all don't want to preserve that. Y'all rather sell that land to a developer. So miss me with that whole we reconciling shit, man. Miss me with that. Miss me with we reconciling. You're not reconciling. You're trying to market. And again, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, you're not reconciling. It's a performative display. It's a performative practice that we've all grown accustomed to. And I know I beat this dead horse. I'm gonna keep beating this horse because the culture and politics can't be separated. Because if you can't speak truth to power in any facet, if you want to continue to make this, shout out to all my Avatar, The Last Airbender fans, if you want to continue to make this bossing say, and just have people just smiling and saying, everything's fine, there's no crime, there's no problems. If you want to continue to do that instead of speaking truth to power and actually addressing the very history that actually informs the state of how people live and enjoy and eat and breathe, if you want to continue to act like everything's fine, and that's the type of people do that. But like, and then when it comes to the Post and Courier, because again, a lot of these decisions these are editorial decisions, right? So Ms. Hogan is writing things largely that she'll know that her editor will accept, right? Or will be okay with. Largely. She has some, but she's writing things that, you know, the paper will print. And this is the front page above the fold Wednesday, middle of the week story, right? But this is not to me, it's not really accurate. That's why my caption underneath is the word reconciling is doing a lie here. The Hannah hire is interesting though, but I need to hear more. I'm a wait and see type of girl. I need to see more. So the culture is important. And I think if you have a culture that continues to run from things that we know to be true, things that are widely held in other places, if you continue to run from that, I mean, we're just doomed to repeat the past. Seriously, I know that's like a cliche, but we're just doing to repeat the past. So Charleston is a fake. I was trying to reach Kia. I've been trying to reach for that kind of analogy all day, all morning. I'm like, it's like, yeah, Charleston is. I'm not gonna feminize it. I was gonna say the chick that wears, but Charleston is the person that wears Old Navy jeans with a Gucci belt. That's Charleston. Like, not saying that's a bad thing, but you acting like you all designer head to toe. Charleston, you think, oh, designers. No. Those are Old Navy jeans. That top came from dealers. You just got a Gucci belt. That's it. Right? That's it. Like, it ain't really no real diss. I wear Old Navy shit. I got Old Navy pajamas right in there. I'm just saying. You acting like it's designer. And one thing you'll learn once you've been fighting the way I've been fighting. So once you've been exiled, there were times early on where I had entree into certain rooms and spaces before they knew what I was really about. And once you get a peek behind the curtain, you'll learn real quick. Everybody who you think is brilliant, everybody who you think, this millionaire must be, man, you learn real quick. Oh, I'm smarter than that person. They just got a lot of money. Oh, you just inherited a lot of money. Oh, okay. Oh, you just a white man and you speak with a certain like tone, and to some people that means, oh, you're authoritative and you know what you're talking about, but you really don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You're an imbecile. I know, here I go name calling. But no, once you've seen behind the curtain, you're not that impressed. I ain't gonna throw no names. One day I'm gonna throw names. Flam, Charleston. There you go, same facade. The other word, Charleston is Flam. Flam AF. Like, and I'm talking about the power, people in power, right? The white, the dominant white culture that actually dictates, that hoards power and maintains the status quo. That shit is Flam, right? It's Flam. Yeah. Louis Vuitton is unisex. I got you. With Lily Pulitzer. Thank you. That damn dress. Oh my God. Had a grip on these women down here. Lily Pulitzer had a chokehold on white girls down here. Good God. I'm like, oh my God. Even when it was at its height, I didn't get it. That or them, like, remember when them quilted bags was a thing? Them quilted paisley totes and I'm like, y'all taste level is suspect. All right. I know I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt, but anyway. Yeah, y'all making me laugh. Yes. Yeah, crazy about the cobblestones, right? Yeah, it's like little nuggets. And I think people would love, like, it's almost like, not love like, oh, this is great. But it's like when I went to the I don't want to call it this, but I can't search for the accurate name, right? The lynching museum, right, down in Montgomery, Alabama. When I went there and I saw how sobering, like the monument was like, it just told you, hey, these are the names of men, women, and children who were lynched. These are the names of black men, women, and children who died due to lynching throughout the country. And so you're at the monument and you're seeing these hanging monuments, and then you're seeing all of these other installations. And it's beautifully made, but it's sobering, and you're quiet and you reflect, and you just need a moment to just absorb this grim reality. But it's also empowering if you couple that harsh reality, if you couple that real honest that real honest recounting of history, and if you combine that with action steps and point to work that's being done that actually corrects this harm. If you do that, you know, people understand. Like, it'd be more palatable for people. Like, I understand it's tough for me to talk about lynchings, right? I didn't even want to talk about the stuff that I'm about to talk about today. But it's important to have the message. And if you couple it with something else that shows a trajectory or shows a commitment to better futures, I think you have a winning formula. Now, going back to this hire, I don't know, again, if it's my man's publicist, I suspect the CBB, Spoleto, and other interests made sure that this story got out, because it ain't just Miss Hogan writing about it, right? And New York Times picked it up, right? So, and it's an important hire. It's a historic hire. I don't want to diminish this moment. But okay, let's just read it. And I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Outspoken music scholar to lead Spoleto Festival. Y'all see the difference in how they cover it, though? Y'all see the difference? Hannah stepping into Spoleto's leading role, right? Hannah stepping into Spoleto's leading role. New general director brings wide-ranging arts experience to annual festival. Then you see how New York Times tried to editorialize it. Outspoken. Because, you know, Post and Curry don't want to use this kind of language because, you know, you don't want to scare the white folk. All right. So I want to say Minna, until I'm corrected. Minna Mark Hannah, who has studied colonialism and classical music, will be the first person of color to lead the renowned arts group in Charleston. So, like, first person of color. And again, Miss Hogan does get to that eventually in her article, right? 37 years old, doing the damn thing. Ow. Okay. All right. You know, so all of that was, you know, they were looking for this, though, right? Because his predecessor was definitely communicated that they were going to step down, right? But, you know, they needed to check off certain boxes. So it had to be someone melanated, check. It had to be someone younger, check. I wish it was a woman, though. I wish it was a woman, or like a gender non-conforming person. I really wish it was somebody completely different. But, you know, Charleston's cultural elite will probably say something. All right, so this is written by Javier Hernandez. I don't know Javier Hernandez's writing. I just read a little bit from his piece. A scholar who has spoken forcefully about the legacy of colonialism and classical music will serve as the next general director of the Spoleto Festival. The renowned arts group in Charleston announced on Tuesday. Minna Mark Hannah, again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I hope I get corrected. 37 years old, the son of Egyptian immigrants, will be the first person of color to lead the festival. That's bananas, y'all. That's bananas. The first one, which was founded in 1977. Okay. The appointment of Hannah comes as the festival tries to recover financially from the coronavirus pandemic, which forced the cancellation of the 2020 season. It led to a 70% decline in ticket sales this year. All right. The festival's leaders are also grappling with other questions about increasing diversity in staff programming amid a broader reckoning over racial justice in the United States. Now, that's accurate. There's a broader reckoning of reconciliation and a broader reckoning with race and injustice in the country. But I don't know what's happening here. We talk. We ain't doing that. Hannah, who will take office in October, said that he would make it a priority to use culture to confront the legacy of slavery in the United States and build inclusive environment. You know what I know? If I know, like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna start being very, very vocal about the rooms I should be in. Or conversations I should have. Cause while I get some good calls, y'all. I get calls I can't talk about. I get some inside information here and there. I get some impressive people on my jack here and there. I do, but not nearly as many as I need, because I think that stop just enlisting. Stop just bringing in people that play ball. Right. So Spoleto, if you're serious, Mr. Hannah, if you're serious about actually confronting racism here and confronting this city's horrible history, if you're really serious, you need to be engaging voices that sound like mine, voices that articulate the problem very, very forcefully, voices that have been working in this area, have been talking about culture, have been lifting up scholarship that has indicted the practices here in Charleston. You need to talk to people like myself. If you're just talking to the same old artists, I'm no shade, but if it's just Jonathan Green in the room, damn it, man. Can we get some other voices? Can we get some critical voices in there? Can we get somebody with a screw face like me in the room? They don't even have to be me, but damn it. Can we get some, no shade to Jonathan Green. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Nice man from what I understand. Talented as hell. But damn it, is he the only one y'all know when it comes to talk about arts and culture and black people? Do you know any theorists? Do you know any philosophers? Do you know any outspoken critics, cultural critics? Do you know anyone else that's been critical of Charleston? Stop running away from conflict. Conflict can be generative. Stop running away. Every dissenting voice is not a gadfly that you can just swat away like a fruit fly, right? Every dissenting voice is not just troublemaking, right? A troublemaker coming from a troublemaker. All right. So hopefully his outreach with very, very, hey, Courtney, you them Vera Bradley bags. That's what it was. Them Vera Bradley bags. I'm sorry, squirrel. You know me, y'all. I'm sorry. Hey, Courtney. I love when I see Courtney in there, though. Courtney's like one of the smartest people. Y'all gotta. One day I'm gonna dedicate like a segment to just Courtney's tweets. Just a block. Just like, you know how John Oliver does those montages, like those crazy. I'm gonna just do Courtney's tweets one day because she's so smart, super smart. You still haven't been able to go to the museum for that reason, right? Absolutely. I wanted to point this out. That made me think. It's Mina. It might be Mina. Thank you, Jessica. Keep me honest. Thank you. My mom loves Jonathan Green too. I love Jonathan Green's art. It's breathtaking. It's beautiful. But he ain't the only one creating art here. All right. Whiskey Neat, you says hoping he has a strong support team of his own, of his choosing. Hello. Because he's and they already communicate. They've already kind of said in this article that that there needs to be more diversity on the staff. So, and diversity on the staff, and then how the Post and Courier has done that thing, I've already talked about it on the show, where Adam Parker worked with Syracuse University to bring in the Gold Ring, the students from the Gold Ring Journalism School of Syracuse University, the students that I've seen personally, that I've actually seen up front, and the students that I've seen on film over the years on YouTube and through the reporting, they tend to skew white, mostly either majority white or majority Asian, which is great in terms of the Asian perspective is great. But you don't see black. I don't see enough Latinx. I don't see enough black. I definitely don't see enough black people. And that's when I made the argument, like, why would would the Post and Courier just work with gold ring students from Syracuse? Why wouldn't they not reach into, I don't know, HBCUs here who have journalism programs, HBCUs in this state that have journalism programs? You can do both. You can do if you think that the Syracuse's journalism school is so highfalutin and all that, okay, bring them, but make sure you have people from here, journalism students from here that cover Spoleto. So that's what happens usually with the Post and Courier. They actually let journalism students cover the festival, right? And my argument is, okay, cool, keep that practice. I actually think that's a great practice to bring in younger voices and younger voices from outside the state. I actually think that's a dope practice. But how about you tap into some younger journalism voices here in the state, from an HBCU, from SC State, from Claflin? Just find some students, right? From in the state. Shout out to Quadro Campbell, who gave me a list of all the journalism schools and from statewide HBCUs, right? So hopefully, like you said, it might be Mina, right? So hopefully, Mr. Hannah. Oh, I don't know. There's the last name. Wait, let me see. Y'all know how I am. Oop, not that. That's not what I want to do. All right, but hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. But hopefully, not only will he surround himself with a certain team, but he also he'll influence the way this festival is engaged with by Post and Courier, by whomever, whatever. Hopefully, he'll influence that as well, right? All right. But yes, this art is very unique. Art has a very unique role to play in this conversation by really harnessing its transformative power to bridge differences. That's interesting. Sometimes I use the word interesting, meaning like, all right. More needs to be done in terms of making sure that we have diverse perspectives at every single point in the life cycle of a work of art. Absolutely. And I want to say this, y'all know that today at 12:30 Eastern time that I am presenting my podcast series and accompanying curriculum based on Benny Starr's A Water album. And that was the curriculum is all about how institutions can more meaningfully engage artists, especially artists who have maybe a more political or activist message, right? And so I created this curriculum, and part of that process was researching institutions like PolicyLink that actually do that. And so when he's talking about art has a very unique role to play in this conversation, I absolutely agree. But we have to make sure that that relationship isn't, hey, I just want to hire your black face to do this black thing in this really problematic white structure and then leave it. Like, it can't just be that. You have to create a universe sometimes. You have to create the very environment to not just sustain that one project, but to also facilitate growth for more emerging voices in the arts and culture scene. Does that make sense? So as I'm creating this curriculum, because the Water album is just like, it's just like mind-blowingly important to Charleston's history. And it's important because you have an artist who's not afraid to call out systems and not afraid to name a thing, not afraid to talk about rising sea levels, and not afraid to talk about gentrification, not afraid to talk about white privilege and white supremacy. And then not only does he do that, he does it skillfully. He does it masterfully, right? And he also has the support of other artists who are skilled and masterful. And even the very creation of a Water album is wrought with so much of the stuff that I started off this live stream with, the struggle to even create a certain body of work, the way they strangled. A Water album was recorded as an entire album that was recorded live in Charleston, and now one newspaper covered it in real time. So thank God there's video. Thank God it was recorded for an album, because if it wasn't, it'd be like that Muhammad Ali story almost. It would be relegated to obscurity. And that's how Charleston engages political art. That's how Charleston engages art with an activist message. They will strangle it. They will deprioritize it. They will make it hostile for you to even perform the art. They'll look for voices that are very, very just, play ball. I ain't gonna say no names because I don't want to make nobody mad, but they know who they are because we don't really bang, right? But like that, it's just really, 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 really important. it's just really, really, really important to I'm looking at the chat to create an entire you can't just bring the artist in and pay them. You have to actually engage them in a meaningful way that actually creates more opportunities in the future. And Charleston's not good at that at all. And Charleston doesn't have the Charleston is a cowardly city in that sense. Very cowardly. Very, very cowardly. So anyway, all right. So yeah, so looks like the Publicist team, the whatever machine got this out on multiple at multiple places. They did a good job. Because I did a little Google news search here. So it's New York Times leads off, right? Then I don't know what Broadway World is, so it's there. WCIV Sinclair Station covered it. City Paper. This is from a month ago though. So I don't know, was his name floated in there or something? Because I put his name in the search. So I don't know. His name is in there though, I guess. Anyway. So yeah. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. Let me go back to my tweets real quick. Again, a reminder today at 12:30. I already sent out a newsletter. I'm gonna send it out again in a sec when I get off today. I might have to hop off. We'll see. What am I looking for right here? So yeah, so shout out to PolicyLink. This is the CEO of PolicyLink, Michael McAfee. So today, if you haven't, just check out, it's in my stories on Instagram. You can swipe up and register for the webinar, but it's today. Join the Water Equity and Climate Resilience Caucus and the Arts and Culture team at PolicyLink for its debut of a virtual event to explore engaging artists and cultural leaders in advocacy and organizing work. So y'all can either go to this tweet, I've already shared this, or you can go to Instagram in the story, swipe up. Yo, my Instagram the algorithm hates me. I got like literally 100 people saw my post of my stories yesterday, like 100 people. So 10,000 followers, but 100 people. The algorithm hates my guts. All right, so yeah. Anyway, you can go to the stories. If you got the newsletter last night, it's in the newsletter. You can do that. I will be launching click on it right here. I'll be launching my podcast. We'll be talking about it. I'll be talking about the influences in the process of creating the curriculum. This was a hard project because it was hard. But it's just super dope. So it's me, it's Benny, and the beloved Nana Fofe. So it's going to be very exciting and daunting and culmination of a lot of hard work. So y'all can check that out. All right, let me hop back over to some other again, culture and politics. They go together. Culture and politics go together like peanut butter jelly. Like, name your favorite combo. Name your favorite combo. That's what arts and culture and politics go together, because we're going to make a weird segue right now. All right, let me go here. So we're going to go back into politics too, because we're going to go back into what's going on nationwide. Thank you, Whiskey Need. Yeah. Can you watch it later? Yeah. I was gonna say no. I was gonna lie, but I'm not a liar. Yes, you will be able. It will be recorded, but I don't know where they're gonna put it. Nicole, it will be recorded, but I don't know where. But there will be a. So the design is to have a microsite later, so you can get that content and have access to that content. So it should be, it should be on another platform. And when I get that information, I'll let you know. I ain't gonna lie, like 11th hour, like working on this thing, still tweaking it this morning. I'm gonna tweak as soon as I get off as well. But it should live on the microsite that they're gonna create. I believe in August next month. I think they're gonna launch something, but I'll let you know when I know more. But let's talk about what's going on nationally. Now, yesterday I touched on it a little bit, touched on fundraising numbers. As soon as I hopped off, I got something in my inbox from Politico. I don't see the comments on Facebook. Hold on. All right, if I don't know if y'all are. What's up? Who's this? Hey, good morning, Nelson Nicole. Good morning. I don't know if these are loading later. I think they are. Facebook has been funny. Okay, thank y'all. Good morning, y'all on Facebook. I see you. But yeah, so a lot. As soon as I hopped off yesterday, a big old piece of news came, which was eye-popping, came in my inbox. Eye-popping money for Tim Scott. All right, as national profile rises, GOP Senator Tim Scott raises $9.6 million, y'all. Jesus Christ. $9.6 million haul is the highest total a senator up for re-election next year has released so far. Yo, that means, y'all, Crystal. Candidates like Crystal Matthews, who are running against Tim Scott, they can't compete with this. They can't compete with this. These candidates, they can't compete with it in a traditional sense. They can compete with it in different ways. They can engage with this. They're not going to be able to buy the ads. They're not going to be able to hire the staff and the team to have a whole statewide presence. They're not going to be able to do that, right? They're not going to be able to have, but they can try to launch an impressive grassroots effort. But this right here, I ain't gonna lie, like this ain't even David and Goliath. This is something else. Insert that meme of, like, I don't know, the wave and the person just standing looking at this mountain, this wave of a mountain. Like, it's this $10 million, y'all. $10 million. And it ain't even over. Like, he could, and I want y'all to understand this. It's not just Timmy by himself. The machine behind him. You hear me? All of the fear mongering you've seen on mainstream news, all of they're coming for your guns when they're trying to tell you it's about vaccination, all of the you don't have to wear a mask, it's tyranny. This is the same as the Holocaust, as that reprehensible Marjorie Taylor Greene continues to bastardize what took place in our world's history, right? All that fear mongering about people coming for your guns, all that fear mongering about immigrants and caravans and the border and Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organ, all of that fear mongering that makes it to, that's why the mainstream media has to do better. That's why you need to follow Soledad O'Brien, and every time Soledad O'Brien tells you how shitty journalism is, listen to her. Listen to Soledad O'Brien. I might just get back on Twitter just to show you, I don't randomly look at her feed because I'm sure she's just lighting somebody up. The way that mainstream media will carry that propaganda without challenging it and framing it properly, because a lot of it are just outright lies, right? But that has been so effective in fundraising. I'm gonna hop over in the chat because y'all blowing up the chat. That has been so effective in conservative fundraising circles. And it's almost like mainstream media does the work of the GOP. And so all of that goes in. And so we know that Tim Scott has been tapped by the establishment, by the traditional establishment that actually tolerated Trump, but trying to get away from him at the same time is really weird, toxic relationship they're in, right? The GOP and Trump is like it's like being caught in a very unfulfilling friends with benefits situation. Ask me how I know about that. But so the GOP establishment is using all of its institutional resources to make sure this man raises money. We know that they've even featured him in national ads, right? So I'm gonna click on this hyperlink because I think this is what got into my inbox. This is what landed in my inbox. I think it was this. That's roll call. Okay, so yeah, this roll call, right? So as national profile rises, GOP Senator Tim Scott raises $9.6 million. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. What? Get out of here, ads. All right. South Carolina Republican makes strong showing ahead of re-election campaign next year, right? So y'all can check this out. Do your Googles, roll call or Politico, right? I'm gonna close that out because the ad's probably crazy. All right, so yeah, that was in my inbox. There's so much in here. So this is like either a podcast because it's a conversation going back and forth. This is from the Political Playbook. So if you're not subscribed or not tuned in, you can. It's so much national news. Like this is like if you don't have time or you don't have the desire, the stomach to read the Post and Courier sometimes. Save for Jamie Lovegrove. If you don't have time or you don't want to watch CNN no more, like I've divested from, go ahead and read something like this that gives you a glimpse of what's going on nationally. Shout out to those in Cuba. We're gonna get to that real quick. I'm gonna pivot to local coverage of news. Shout out to those holding it down in Cuba. My heart goes out to people in Cuba. My heart goes out to the citizens in Haiti right now. And watch how those two stories will be treated real differently. Watch that. You know, Haitians, come on. Centuries of messing with Haiti, centuries of interfering with Haitian politics, centuries of it, right? Let me look at the chat over here. Y'all are lighting it up. Please, let's go. Okay, the Republicans are giving him money. Yeah, they are. Yeah. What did Evelyn say? Where Evelyn? Okay, Evelyn. Y'all on my end, y'all's chats coming like color coded, and every day is a different color. So I have to look for certain names. Evelyn, who's giving him that? He gets nothing done. That's the other thing, Evelyn. There's nothing being done at the local level. It's all marketing. It's not. He just talks about these ideas, right? A lot of them do. Even our faves in Congress. I see you, Mr. Clyburn. I know. Come on, let's get some stuff done, bruh. Let's get some stuff done. All right, Scott is going to be their unproblematic black conservative token. Absolutely. And being a black male conservative is so profitable. Being a black conservative is extraordinarily profitable. Being a black grifting ass Trump supporter is uber profitable, right? So people are going to definitely maximize that. And they're part. Now, I honestly, I think given the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, I think had the George Floyd thing not taken off so much, they still would have been trying to do the Nikki Haley thing. Like, you know, like, oh, okay, we'll just do this assimilationist woman of color who changed their name. We'll use that, right? I think they would have been more apt to promote a Nikki Haley. That's why Nikki need to go ahead and bow out now, because it's over, girl. 9.6, 10 million. Nikki, go on, take that seat, Nikki. Go over there. Go to lay down. Go over there and lay down, Nikki. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Unless Nikki gonna pop out with 20 million somewhere, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Go ahead and sit your ass down. I don't want to see no more headlines. No more. All right, let me get serious. All right, so let's go ahead. I didn't watch no videos with y'all yet. Y'all still hanging with me though. Y'all still hanging with me? Okay. So let's watch it. Let's watch some coverage. Let's see.
Recognizable.
Okay. Okay. Let me frame this. So this is the first ad he just released. Tim just released this on the 7th. So this is a very effective ad. And look who's in it. I want y'all to see every single frame in this video is a strategic move. Every single frame. Let's go.
Today, America is at a crossroads. We are heading towards a future that is unrecognizable.
The White House now admits its own policies may in fact be driving the migrant surge.
Raising taxes on Americans.
Lines forming at some gas stations in South Carolina. Others have temporarily closed signs on their pumps.
A future where our leaders are more concerned with canceling you than doing their jobs. But you can't cancel America.
Whoa!
We don't give in to cancel culture. We have work to do. But I believe in the goodness of America.
Because we don't put our hope in the government. We put our hope in the people. And in the Palmetto State, we tend to defend what matters most to us. Our family, our freedom, our faith, and our future.
That's Charleston.
Our best future will not come from Washington schemes or socialist dreams. It will come from you, the American people.
We are at a turning point, and it's time to move South Carolina forward.
One thing I can say as a born and bred Charlestonian in South Carolina is
let's proceed.
Born and bred Charlestonian in South Carolina is we believe in fairness. We want things to work for every single American, no matter what you look like, no matter where you're from.
Jessica.
That is why the story of redemption is synonymous with the story of America.
This is why we need someone who isn't afraid. We need a fighter
Evelyn.
for South Carolina.
A friend of mine, a very, very special man.
Oh, wow.
Tim Scott.
Oh,
I'm with Tim. I'm with Tim.
he put Trump in the air, y'all.
I'm with Tim. I'm with Tim. I am with Tim Scott.
I'm for Tim.
I'm with 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 Tim. I'm for Senator Tim Scott.
I'm with Tim.
I'm with Tim.
Oh, okay.
I'm with
so
Tim
she's
Scott.
out.
I'm with Tim.
Wait,
Tim.
I support Senator Tim Scott.
Herschel Walker?
I'm with Tim.
I'm
Donna
with Tim
James?
because Tim's with you.
I'm with Tim because Tim's with you.
The very best person.
Okay,
in all of
hey,
politics,
hey, Trey.
who also happens to be my senator, Tim Scott.
Because we're fighting forward with Tim Scott.
Tim, I'd
Yo, this is like a summer blockbuster.
like you to say a few words.
I am confident that our finest hour is yet to come.
Whew. Yo, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. Okay, as a strategist, right? They found one black one. They found, I think, was it his mama? Who was that? Yeah. How much of that $9.6 million did he have to pay for all those folks to appear? Hello. Stefanik, Oh, I'm looking at y'all. Woo! I see you on Facebook. Y'all had the same reaction on Facebook. Nelson Nicole and Trump is in it. That's huge. Nelson Nicole. It's a movie trailer. Y'all, I need a I'm a proponent of morning. Jay Jasmine reminds me of the propaganda videos. Yep, the Trump team would put out on social media. Absolute propagandistic AF. Yeah, I need a mimosa. Maybe if I drink my liquor in mimosa form, it'll be acceptable. Maybe, can you have a Wednesday morning brunch? Can that happen? It's spooky. Yeah, Justin, for real. Jesus. I'll let y'all know, I did not watch that full. I didn't watch that. I watched that live with y'all. So like, I knew what went in it because I read the reporting about what went in it, and so the cameos, right? And it says at the bottom, like the cameos there, but like, Jesus, whoo, I'm out of breath. All right, let me go ahead and go back some. So that's a lot. That's a lot, y'all. That is a lot. Oh, why is two guys here? Shout out to Dan Lebitard. Let me see. I don't even know how to pivot to the other stories I wanted to watch. Grant me permission to just do a palate cleanser. Let me shout out Trudy Lucas and them. Trudy Lucas, I think this her kinfolk right here. This Trudy Lucas kinfolk. Let's just palate cleanse. We're gonna go right back. Let me just do this real quick.
Went viral.
Okay. This Trudy Lucas and them, friend of this live stream. Shout out Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out Reverend Nelson. Shout out Nashonda Hunter. Shout out Trudy Lucas. Shout out National Action Network here in Charleston. Let me just cleanse the palate real quick, okay?
The name Ray Singleton sounds familiar to you. It's because a video of him serenading his wife as she was going into surgery for brain cancer went viral last year.
Yes, my baby has been around for me.
And then Ray wowed the judges by serenading her in the tryouts for America's Got Talent.
Wouldn't dream to be anything more. You take my breath away.
Oh, that was incredible.
Well, I'm still getting chills every time I hear Ray Singleton sing. Ray Singleton is still turning heads, tugging at hearts, giving us goosebumps. He's on America's Got Talent, but he's on our big stage tonight. We are so happy to have Ray Singleton in our studio and his beautiful bride, Rosalind. What an amazing story the two of you have. We are so excited that you're going to be on America's Got Talent tonight, but it's really
So this was last
your
night.
incredible story that brought you to this point. Rosalind, first of all, how are you?
I'm amazing. I'm absolutely amazing. I'm actually even more amazing because my husband's singing on AGT tonight. So I'm really great. But no, I'm great. Thank you. Yes.
You have survived 2 bouts with brain cancer, and it was the result of the second battle, that diagnosis going into surgery, that compelled you to sing to her. And of course, the rest is history. It went viral.
Yes, it went viral. There's millions of people have seen it. There are thousands of people that bought clothes from us, that support us, that pray for us.
I'm gonna leave it there. I just wanted to make sure I included that clip and lift up this family, lift up this couple, not just for the show, but hopefully this will translate into people recognizing the talent and recognizing the story. And you know, just lift up this family right here. I had to do that, y'all. After that Tim Scott ad, I rather lift up something light and fluffy. I know I'm very, but that's part of it. Some shows are gonna be more some live streams are gonna be more focused and just really like precise, and some are gonna be a little bit more. Did y'all see this last night? And definitely had to break that up just a little bit. But shout out to the family. Shout out to I don't watch America's Got Talent. Hopefully he did well. Hopefully he'll advance as much as he can. That's all I wanted to say about that, okay? And shout out to Channel 2 News dedicating like 4 minutes. 4 minutes to it. That's a lot of real estate on the show. But it was the NBC show, though. We get it. It's an NBC show. ABC's got America's Got Talent. So of course they're gonna give it some time. Give it some time in the newsroom. All right, so wanted to do that. Wanted to talk about this roundtable, right? So this was published. Yeah, this was published the other day. I didn't see this when it came out, and I didn't know about this roundtable. And I wanted to ask my followers, especially y'all on Twitch. Y'all are killing it this morning. I wanted to ask my followers, what would you do? Because there are two people in this clip that I respect. Like, I know that they do good work. Or I respect their work. I don't know them like that, but I know I've worked with them, especially around the Jamal Southern and stuff, and I know what they stand for. But I want y'all to keep that question real quick. What would you have done had you have gotten an invite to participate in this event? Well, let's watch. Tell me what you have done. If you worked in the community, if you work for, let's make up an organization. If you work for Black people against jails. Let's just make up if you worked for an institution called Black People Against Jails, right? And it was like a really prominent organization that had a lot of credibility. What would you have done if you were extending an invitation to this room?
State leaders are...
And I'm not saying I don't know the answer. I honestly, this is not a trick question. I don't know the answer.
Together to talk about police reform in South Carolina through a roundtable discussion happening right here in the Low Country. News 2's Katie Augustine was there as panelists shared their thoughts on building trust between law enforcement and people in the community.
The roundtable discussion hosted by Americans for Prosperity South Carolina touched on...
That's right. Americans for Prosperity, y'all. Let me.
Prosperity South Carolina touched on a few topics such as police training, finding ways to connect police in the community, and lightening the load on our officers. Sparking change to benefit both law enforcement and the community. That's a goal of Americans for Prosperity South Carolina. A roundtable discussion held in downtown Charleston brought together people from all walks of life with a similar interest, bridging the gap between law enforcement
I don't know some
and
of
the
these
people they serve.
Communities do not want to work with law enforcement in a lot of places, and we need communities to help law enforcement solve crimes.
And solving...
I would never sit on a panel where that was said. I mean, no, because you're gonna sit on panels with difference of opinions. I could not sit on a panel with that step and repeat behind my head.
Crimes is an important part of the job. Some panelists believe problems stem from officers being stretched too thin.
No.
We make them wear too many hats that they just don't have the resources and, frankly, the training and experience and education to handle.
I've been learning about the mental health crisis that our police are facing and how they are, rather than focusing on violent crime, they've been pulled away.
A few ideas introduced
Violent
as possible
crime.
solutions to the problems
Wait, police are supposed to focus on violent crime?
presented at the discussion.
We need to create...
Whose license plate is that? That's a cop car? Okay.
Social service programs to address these issues and divert them away from law enforcement. We need more funding for mental health treatment.
One idea starts with looking into what can make communities safer.
It's access to health care, it's
ACLU,
access to
that's
housing,
Frank
it's
Knack.
access to living wage, it's access to transportation.
One host of the event says starting these sometimes tough conversations
Yeah,
is the best
Evelyn,
way to
Evelyn.
see positive change for both the community and law enforcement. The point of tonight's
Okay, so so maybe I gotta remember that everyone doesn't, like, I move a mile a minute, and I live stream like 5 days a week, so it's really, I don't expect y'all to retain every nugget, right? But so that step and repeat, American for Prosperity. Remember I said this like a while ago, because I'm single, and sometimes, my single woman behavior is wearing Old Navy pajamas and watching old Frontline episodes. And so I watched this the other night, right? Because I was trying to get a handle on some of the environmental justice stuff that we were doing at Friends of Gadsden Creek. So I started watching this old Frontline.
It's going to shut down the energy system, double the cost, retire facilities. It's a bad thing to do for the country, for the economy.
We're having a hard time keeping up with demand with the current regulatory system.
So this is about environmental stuff, but this is about the EPA, but track with me.
All the environmental constraints and permitting problems.
One of the most vocal critics of the Obama EPA was Myron Ebell of the Competitive Enterprise Institute, a free market think tank.
Look, we're not against all regulation. We think that there's far too much regulation. It's far too heavy-handed. It's far too expensive.
I want to talk about global warming for a minute.
Ebell frequently defended the fossil fuel industry and rejected the threat of climate change.
Regulation.
I think that shows that the models are phony.
He staked out an extreme position, but other conservatives also expressed skepticism.
If there is a global warming problem, the way a lot of conservatives think about this issue is maybe it is and maybe it isn't a problem, and maybe it will have high costs and maybe it won't. But I know what the cost will be of constraining the market and taxing the market and restraining fossil fuel production. And since I know that that price will be paid, I am opposed to action until there is a near certainty that climate change is going to be a significant
so climate deniers,
worry in my life.
think tanks, and the regulation.
Regulating EPA, it's going to cost me $200 to fill up my tank.
EPA's critics began running attack ads in oil and gas producing states.
Thanks to your nutty global warming regulations, every American may be stuck in a ridiculous car like this.
Many were produced by Americans for Prosperity, an influential conservative group founded by billionaires Charles and David Koch. Much of the Koch's fortune came from oil and gas, and they would spend millions opposing Obama's initiatives.
So going back to the event held by Americans for Prosperity, like, I'm really at a loss. Like, so we're gonna so what would y'all do? Right, I know y'all did the Wikipedia search, right? Yeah. So what would y'all do? Same facade, you said you wouldn't go, but if I had to, they would have just heard me propose defunding and divesting from the police. Okay. So do you think, and I'm being serious, because sometimes I am a very, like, I'm the girl that's just like, no to every, like, I say no to a lot. But you saw ACLU there, and you saw other partners that organized with us with the Jamal Sutherland issue. And I think when you go to events like that, you give that think tank credibility. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you give a Koch brothers led organization is propagandistic, and if it's centering the voice of a Nancy Mace, who is on record been a climate change denier, like, are you doing any good by being ACLU? Is ACLU actually being effective and using their voice in that space? That you know that they're gonna cut up the ads, and that's what they almost did. Like, even the newsroom just did it. I don't know why it's not coming back in my history. I just played it. Where is it at? I'm trying to go back to that News 2 clip. Like, I don't understand how, here we go. I don't know why it's like, how going to this.
State leaders are coming together.
I'm trying to understand, like, what's the value? What's the redemptive value? And I am trying to understand. I would not, like, knowing what they're about, knowing that they are climate change deniers, knowing how much money, billions of dollars being used to fuel these really horrible ads, as someone who works in and around social justice, why would you be there? Evelyn, you said right. When the AFP is sponsored, you know everything is getting twisted, and that's what I don't get that. And so I'm not going at Frank's neck. I'm not going at, I forgot her name off the top. The other chick with the ponytail to the back. Like, she's, they're good people. But I'm just saying, like, why would you go here? Why would you it's, and then you heard the newscaster who's not making that correlation that this is a Koch brothers. Like, she didn't, maybe she does later on. I'm not going to watch the whole piece with y'all. But like, she's saying that, oh yeah, they're all in agreement. So everyone, so the spin in the newsroom is that everyone on the dais, everyone on the stage is in agreement, is in alignment politically. And I'm not going to be a part of that. Like, I'm just not. Let me watch the rest and just see if they do.
Prosperity, South Carolina. A roundtable discussion held in downtown Charleston brought together people from all walks of life with a similar interest, bridging the gap between law enforcement and the people they serve.
Communities do not want to work with law enforcement in a lot of places.
No.
And we need communities to help law enforcement.
No, you don't. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, you don't have to send no, you don't. Don't work with the police. No. They get their budgets are sometimes larger than the Parks and Rec, but no, don't work with the police. They get paid. They get a lot of funding. No. That whole we need to no.
Officers being stretched too thin.
That's
my savvy analysis.
Them wear too many hats that they just don't have the resources and frankly the training and experience and education to handle.
I've been learning about the mental health crisis that our police are facing and how they are, rather than focusing on violent crime, they've been pulled away.
A few ideas introduced as possible solutions to the problems presented at the discussion.
We need to create social service programs to address these issues and divert them away from law enforcement. We need more funding for mental health treatment.
One idea starts with looking into what can make communities safer.
It's access to health care, it's access to housing, it's access to living wage, it's access to transportation.
I could not sit next to these
One host of the event says starting these sometimes tough conversations is the best way to see positive change for both the community and law enforcement. The point of tonight's discussion was to promote thoughtful conversation in hopes that some of the ideas would be used in the future. In studio, I'm Katie Augustine.
Yeah, they don't even address it. So if you don't know any better, if you're not doing your Googles like y'all not on Wiki, if y'all not watching Frontline like me in your Old Navy pajamas at 11:33 on a Thursday because you're single, if you're not doing that and taking notes, like, you're not going to know what these organizations are, right? You're not going to know. I just, Whiskey Neat, you say the American for Prosperity are influencing the narrative. Yeah, so it appears to the stupid conservative, to the public, it appears to the public that the progressive attendees are in community, are in community and with their agenda and in line with their agenda. Absolutely. Like, I don't know. Like, it's gonna, I'm not saying you can't be at an event with a Nancy Mace, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm not going to be at an event sponsored by Americans for Prosperity. Americans for Prosperity. Nancy Mace recently just signed on with them. I'm not going to be using their propaganda. You got me all the way fucked up. Now, I will talk at a something that's held, by some sort of neutral party or like, a news outlet, ETV. I don't know, something like that. But I'm not sitting with Nancy Mace with that step and repeat behind my head. You must be bugging. You tripping. All right, that was. I asked y'all for the answer, but I guess I arrived at my own conclusion. As I watched it, I'm like, I was just getting more and more head scratchy. Like, what the hell? We doing that? Huh? All right. I wanted to see some local coverage on the Cuban crisis. What's going on over there? It's unreal. We're not even getting the whole story. There are 3 hot spots that we need to watch: Cuba, Haiti, and South Africa. And the news coming from South Africa is just starting to trickle over here now. What's going on over there? Haitians are trying to get out of Dodge, and you know how that go. They don't want Haitians to come here. Cubans are trying to get out, flee Cuba. because of what's going on there. And they cutting off the internet, all that other stuff, to suppress the message as they always have, right? So these are three areas to watch. You know, do what you can, engage how you can. I'm not telling y'all that everything that I'm outlining is something that I'm involved in. I'm not, but I just wanted to elevate what's going on globally, because sometimes we'll have this myopic view, and we just know, because this will impact us here in some way.
And good evening now. We began tonight with a protest here in Colombia, a demonstration in support of the Cuban people. Crowding the front of the State House lawn, Cubans across the Midlands shouted for more to be done to help those in the communist country. They're protesting against deteriorating living.
And so when I say it's going to impact us here, especially talking about communism and socialism, you know how those things get conflated. Communism, socialism, like that's going to get conflated. That's going to be weaponized and politicized. But it doesn't take away from the fact that there are people struggling. There are people crying out for help. People who are saying things like they don't have access to healthcare. They don't have access to the vaccine in Cuba. There's so many things going on in Cuba. And I'm not even going to act like I'm an expert on this issue. I know I know that black folk have a complicated relationship with Cuba, complicated in that black folk view traditionally. Black folk have viewed the Fidel Castro, the Castro regime as a friend to black people, and that doesn't always bode well when we're talking to Cuban communities here in the United States. This is really, you know, Assata Shakur, we think is sought refuge in Cuba, right? To escape, you know, unfair prosecution here in the United States. So it's just complicated from an African American perspective. But that complication does not take away from the fact that folks are crying out for help, and you never see protests in Cuba. You never see it. It never happens. And the fact that we actually saw it and we're seeing it, we're hearing about it, that means that shit done really went, just shit is off the rails over there, right? The U.S. is deeply involved in both what happened in Cuba and Haiti. Come on, but Cuba is suffering due to, it was Trump sanctions. It was like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Conditions and the lack of food and medicine. Residents are also calling for an end to the communist regime.
I love hearing Spanish. I love hearing Spanish in South Carolina.
Con el propósito de que nuestra Cuba sea libre.
With the purpose of having freedom for Cuba.
Y con otro propósito.
And with another purpose.
Que este mensaje le pueda llegar al presidente Biden.
That this message reaches our President Biden.
Porque de una manera u otra él cumple un papel muy importante para nuestro país Cuba.
Because one way or the other, he is essential for our country, Cuba.
Shout out to WLTX for providing a space for this translation. Seriously, y'all, this is good journalism. This was a good editorial decision, right? This is a good. Now, I don't speak Spanish, but I trust this young woman is translating everything. I don't doubt that at all. Shout out to WLTX for airing it just like this. No editing, no. This is brilliant. I know that sounds like, Mika, why are you being so emphatic? You don't see enough. I grew up in a place where I can hear Spanish language news like around the clock, everywhere, FM, AM, TV, the regular channels, not just the hidden ones. Like I was, you know, and so when you don't see it a lot here, when you start seeing it in different ways, it's just remarkable. So that's why I'm being so emphatic about this. Don't take this for granted, because we don't see it enough. Shout out to Fernando Soto as well. I'm going to start lifting up his news coverage, his Spanish language news coverage. Even if you don't speak Spanish fluently, it's important that you advance his message. It's important that you share his content, because I'm sure he's covering this story and what's happening in Haiti. I'm sure at some level he's covering that. So stay tuned for that. I'll reach out to him and see what's going on. But it's important to have news like this. This is WLTX did a phenomenal job right here.
Sí, que él nos puede ayudar.
Yes, he can help.
Y nos puede ayudar a acabar con ese comunismo de más de 60 años.
That assassination was crazy.
Defeat the communism of more than 60 years.
Un comunismo que lo único que ha traído es miseria, hambre, niños desnutridos, muchos problemas y no hay manera.
Communism that has only brought misery, hunger.
He's like,
y no hay manera de subsistir, de poder vivir como un ser humano libre.
And there's no way for anyone to live like that as a free person.
Look at that. You never see this, y'all. You
Meanwhile,
never see
thousands
that.
of people have taken to the streets in Cuba. They're angry over the worsening economic crisis there. This comes as the Biden administration reviews its policy toward the communist
Biden got a
nation,
moment right here.
including whether or not to ease or maintain economic sanctions.
We call on the government of Cuba to refrain from violence or attempts to silence the voice of the people of Cuba.
That's a legacy builder right there. I'm gonna stop it right there. Justin, a lot of Cuban coverage here is extreme right wing and downplays the intentional strangling of the Cuban economy by the U.S. Absolutely, both Haiti and Cuba have that type of economic pressure. Let me get back on Cuba, but like. Exactly. The coverage, Justin, is usually coming from one source, right? Because of the popularity of the Trump administration in places like South Florida and whatnot, right? Miami and all that. But like this is like, watch Democracy Now. I know I don't share enough Democracy Now clips, but Democracy Now, if y'all wanna understand this story a little bit better, check out the coverage from Democracy Now, especially on the Haitian coverage as well. But I had to lift up something from South Carolina, a news outlet from South Carolina. That's what we do here. That's what we do. All right, I got 8 minutes. I'm actually off today, so I can get ready for the 12:30 event. But I got to get off at 9 so I can prepare. Let me see what else I wanted to share. Oh, y'all remember when the president of SC State was like kissing Nikki Haley's butt and got Nikki Haley to come and vouch for him and all the other stuff, right? Y'all remember that? Well, guess what?
Change of leadership at South Carolina State University today. The school's president, James Clark, was fired by the Board of Trustees
That's
this
what you
morning.
get.
The board chairman explaining the reasons behind that decision.
The motion of the board was voted to terminate the president for cause pursuant to Section 7.1 of the employment agreement. The board thanks President Clark for his service to South Carolina State University over the last
I tried to add the
5
captions.
years of his term and wishes him much success in his future endeavors.
Well, as you just heard there, Clark was at the university for 5 years. Today's decision follows a vote of no confidence the faculty senate gave Clark back in March, citing low enrollment and returning
Johnny
to campus
James, I see you.
during the pandemic.
Your comment.
Now, earlier, a short while ago.
Hold on. Johnny James, I see you. Your comment is spot on about the white Cubans controlling the narrative. As we all just saw, they're Afro-Latinas, Black Cubans, Black Dominicans, Black Puerto Ricans, feel me? Yep. And so that's going to be important. When your news coverage should not just be coming from just one source, one white source.
I was joined on
Cuban or otherwise, but back to this story. So just back to this story real quick. But yeah, so real quick. So I'm going to, let me see if I can find it. Nikki Haley. SC State. See if I can find that story. Yeah. So old boy thought he was cute. I knew this was the sign of the end. So he did this. Yeah, this back in April. Remember this? I covered this on a live stream real quick. Get out of here. Why would I want browser notifications? So I covered this on a live stream real quick a while ago, back in April, and I was like, why the hell would he invite her there? But he was trying to get political support. He was trying to. So she went there, toured with him, and she held a little quick presser, like, oh, I really believe in his leadership. Oh, da da da. I'm like, this the voice you gonna seek out, bruh? Cause now she's in the I'm with Tim video. She's in the I'm with Tim video montage. So I thought that was interesting. So you did all that, and I thought that was a really interesting political decision that he made, trying to save his job. But
a Zoom interview with Dr. Clark and his attorneys. Dr. Clark didn't want to talk. Instead, he let his attorneys answer our questions. I asked if Clark had been given any warnings
fallen off.
leading up to today's board action.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked that, JR. The end of the day, his evaluation, he's still a state of South Carolina agency head and an employee of the state of South Carolina. Never was he given an employee performance evaluation prior to his termination. There never was any meetings by anyone within the structure of that board that allowed him to have any prior notice that he was deficient in terms of any of his job performance, because that doesn't exist.
At the end of the day, what do you want to see happen here? Does Mr. Clark want his job back at South Carolina State University?
He has never ever stated that he did not want to continue to be in a leadership position as president of the university. He devoted his efforts and his heart to the students. Secondly of all,
yeah, that's the plight of the working man in South Carolina. I don't know how much of the state's employment laws and you know how the state is so anti-labor, anti-whatever, anti-worker. I don't know how much that plays into this, if he has any type of legal standing. But politically, he corny. The school ain't doing good. The school is not doing well. The brand done fell off. His leadership is suspect. There's so many fumbled opportunities. Like as a layman, there are so many missed opportunities from this school. You know, you've got the one of the most powerful Democrats currently as the whip in Congress as an alum, and y'all just like fumble this moment. Like there's so many moments where like your profile, like Congressman Clyburn wore your cap to the inauguration of Joe Biden. Like there have been so many prominent things happen when during the primary season. Everybody was scrambling to HBCUs to you know, to either use their facilities or whatever. Like and it's that's complicated, but like they didn't even like factor into none of that. Like it's just weird and just all over weird things happening at SC State. And there's so many amazing, shout out Chris Kalin, so many amazing alumni that I know that come from that school, and that history and that legacy of that school is something that's not celebrated nearly enough here in the South. So I'm rooting for the school. I'm rooting for the students and the faculty members who are committed to community. This guy has shown me that he just is not a good leader. So that's that. But I just wanted to, we kind of went all over the place today, but thank y'all for riding with me. It was, again, I got a lot going on this week. I got a lot going on just at work, to be real with y'all. And it's a point of tremendous stress and pressure and anxiety. And this is one of my favorite things to do, is to come on a live stream and just talk to y'all via chat on Facebook and on Twitch. So thank y'all so much. We went all around the world, but y'all feel me. Big takeaways, you know, how one takeaway is culture impacts policy. And so who we choose to lead our cultural efforts, it will in fact impact policy. Other key takeaways, they raising money hand over fist, y'all. They raising money hand over fist. I ain't gonna lie, we gonna lose the House and the Senate in the midterms, y'all. We're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose it if y'all don't get activated. We're gonna lose it though. Like we gotta get going. We think because Trump out of office, everything cool. And so key takeaways: culture and past policy. Other key takeaways: y'all gotta get off y'all butt. It's not y'all gotta get off y'all butt and start supporting these candidates. Support Stephen Bowden. Support Mia McLeod. Support Crystal Matthews. Support these candidates, y'all. It's 9.6 million, gosh darn. All right. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Gotta go. Y'all check out the webinar if y'all can. Go to Charleston Activist Network on IG. Look in the story. Swipe up. Register. Check out the newsletter. Open it up. If it's in your inbox, open it up. You can subscribe to the webinar there as well, or subscribe. You can join and register for the webinar there. I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Barbecue chicken pizza. The Cunningham will win. Cunningham will win. Let people out of prison for weed. He ain't letting nobody out of prison. He gonna scare white folks if he said that. Cause I don't know. Shout out Barbecue Chicken Pizza. I like that name. All right, y'all. We'll talk about it tomorrow, maybe. All right, take care, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Bye.